Boyks, we need $10,000 by tomorrow night to save our podcast.
Okay.
What should we do? Do we need to sell off our gold-plated, diamond-crusted microphones?
No,
I don't
those are
understand.
important. No.
How are we going to keep this afloat? Somebody who's good at money, help us!
Okay, I have 50 CDs, burnable CDs, that I use to save my podcast to. I have 10,000 candles. I have 25...
How do we budget this podcast?
How do we
I don't
budget
get
this
it.
podcast? I don't...
Please, we need everybody to give us more money on Patreon so that we can put more diamonds onto our microphones. No, we're not going to pay the bills we have. We're just going to crust everything in diamonds.
I got an idea. Let's enter a podcast competition for $12,000.
And then immediately lose it and have that whole plot exit the movie.
Yes.
Welcome to Rough Cuts. Fuck this film.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
Won't you please join me in bringing together in marriage a much-beloved couple, Chloe and Poppy. You may lick the bride.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Oh, Poppy.
Oh, Chihuahua, Chihuahua.
Uncle Pedro!
Give me some paw.
Oh, look at me. I'm covered in mud.
Don't you usually pay for a mud mask?
Your little fluff balls ruined my purse. Sorry.
She is a 3-time champion of the Beverly Hills Dog Show.
Peasants.
She's just mad because she looks like a big, angry Q-tip. Poppy's home.
Hey, Poppy, look. Beverly Hills Dog Show? $50,000 prize?
They gave us a home. We got to do everything we can to help them keep it.
We should enter the dog show. Yeah! You think you could win the dog show? Do not make me laugh. We're gonna do this.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2.
Fuck you, Disney.
Fuck Disney. Fuck the writers of this. Fuck everyone involved in this film. This is the worst movie. I know that you are going to say this isn't the worst movie that we've watched. And you're not wrong, but you're not right. Because this is undeniably the worst film we've watched. But for very specific reasons.
We watched Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2.
Yes.
Which is not the worst, shot film. It's shot well. It's not the worst acted film.
Oh god, no, definitely
the
not.
acting's
The
good.
actors in this are all pretty serviceable.
The sets are good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sets are pretty nice. The sets are actually really nice. We'll get into that.
It's a reasonable length.
The sets are too nice.
What exactly makes this the worst film?
What makes this the worst film is that it is written by the two parents in Get Out.
Yes.
It's written by the white people in Get Out. It is...
It's written by the guy who didn't understand the joke.
Yes.
About electing Obama a third time.
These are people that would very unironically be like, man, I'd have voted Obama a third time. The writers of this film... it feels like they were writing about their class struggles of being in a $5 million penthouse apartment in Los Angeles.
Of being rich and white. Yes.
Yes.
Their class struggles of being rich and white.
Would just like other people. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. I'm livid having watched this. This is monstrous. And it's monstrous in multiple ways, because it's not just classist, it's racist, and it also loves abusive parents. It's incredible the ways that it just picks the worst possible things to defend.
There's a joke image that I saw going around a little bit ago, which was, hey, are you two friends? One's labeled leftist, one's labeled liberal. The liberal says yes. The leftist says no.
Fuck no. Yeah,
we
no,
are
exactly.
not liberal
yes.
friends.
No, that's a big meme.
This is
No.
super rich white liberal bullshit.
Yes.
I hate this shit. And okay, I need to get some context. We watched the second Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I want you to know why we're so fucking mad. Other than everything and the reasons that why we're mad is legit. But specifically, the first movie is about a rich white upper class pet of a rich white upper class, white woman in LA. Specifically Beverly Hills, because it's Beverly Hills Chihuahua. And she's like, hey, I don't like this rich white upper class society. I want to see what the rest of the world has to offer.
Yes.
And starts interacting with the lower class thugs on the street, which are homeless dogs that then have budding love between them. And this rich white dog has a multi-million-dollar collar of diamonds that she doesn't realize is expensive because she's, stuck in rich white society. And some thieves try to steal her, and more importantly, the collar. They don't give a shit about the dog. And they eventually get it back, and then the two dogs love each other because white upper-class bullshit is bullshit. And you should just like people because you like people. That's basically the movie, right? Like that's an okay message. That actually has a point.
I have not seen Beverly Hills Chihuahua 1, but it sounds like it's
serviceable.
Not great.
Like
Yeah, but it's got the serviceable message for children of a very palatable hey, people are people, and just because you're rich and white doesn't mean that people that aren't rich and white are less than you. It just means that they're different people.
Yes.
It's kind of got that vibe to it from the sound of things. This tries to have that vibe and misses on every fucking point. It is...
Yeah.
It's so wrong.
It opens with a multi-million-dollar dog wedding for white people's dogs. Fuck you. It completely lost the goddamn point of the film. And all of their Latino writers. Weird.
Yeah. This movie starts on a garden party of champagne and fancy dresses with butlers on the most manicured palatial grounds imaginable, where they're having a fucking dog wedding. And then the plot of the movie is that they don't have enough money.
Yes, they're poor. In their rich white people mansion.
This movie has 30 different scenes of people wringing their hands in a gilded palace. And I do mean a gilded palace. We're talking, it looks like fucking
marble,
Trump's,
gold,
it looks like
spiral
Trump's
staircases.
Weird penthouse apartment that's full of gold on everything and way too gaudy. It's that shit. And it's them wringing their hands in a house like that with all this art and gold on the walls and, like you said, marble pillars, and them going, how are we gonna find $40,000? And it's fuck you.
They could sell 2 fucking tables in this goddamn mansion and get the $40,000 they need. I hate this shit.
There is a literal scene of them sitting down at a table and then a servant coming out and bringing them food, and then the conversation is immediately okay, well, but how do we get this money to save our mansion?
This
fuck
okay.
These people.
Let me list the things wrong with this movie, and then we'll get very angry and not discuss it, but we will yell about it. There's classism, first of all.
Yes.
Extremely awful classism. There's racism. There's a lot of Spanish in this movie because it's based on...
No, there isn't.
Well,
no, there isn't.
let me clarify. There's a lot of Spanish in this film because one of the dogs is, I want to point out, the thug dog. Is a Latino, specifically probably a Mexican, because it uses Mexican culture, which it whitewashes. There's whitewashing in this movie too, and all of the Spanish in the film is dubbed, speaks in Spanish. Fuck you.
Yeah.
There's whitewashing, there's racism, there's classism, there's
the majority of characters in this movie, I just want to go back for a second.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that a lot of the times movies will do, like, the speaks in Spanish, which is always shitty. But it's especially shitty in this movie when it is ostensibly about a Mexican family.
Yes.
The vast majority of this movie is supposed to be Latino characters. And, like Delgado the dog comes from Mexico. He's a Mexican police force dog. Pedro is a dog. Like Pedro. Papi is the main male dog, the Beverly Hills Chihuahua, one of the two. Like, and it's about his family, which are all Latino, like they were specifically Mexican. They're talking about their Mexican stuff. They live in like a Mexican house. And then constantly, every single time they speak in Spanish, it has its subtitles that speaks in Spanish. There is a moment in this film where they go and they start to do like a dance. It looks like they were going to dance at a dog show. And like I said to you, and it felt like this 110%. I'm like, I'm ready for them to subtitle this as dances Mexicanly. Ugh. Like that's how it feels. That's how everything in this movie feels with the way that it portrays it.
This movie appropriates Latin culture and Mexican culture in awful ways.
It is the most stereotypically Spanish stuff, like Mexican South American culture possible, in that it's like got these horrible, awful CGI scenes of them in like Aztec and Mayan times and him giving stories about that, and
it reminds me of films that are like the rich white people sitting in their rich mansion talking about the natives. Like, it's bad. It's bad. And they, oh my god,
sucks. It sucks.
This movie
so
also
much.
is really bad messages about parenting. It has bad messages about absolving your abusive parents of anything they've done in the past. Like, this film is morally dead in every way possible.
It's reprehensible what this film is about. Like, if you were saying that the first movie is about like rejecting a little bit of like the mainstream white bougie culture, this movie is about how white bougie culture is the only acceptable thing, and the only way that you can get ahead in life is by playing their game.
Correct.
Like, that is the only way. The
only way a minority can get ahead in white culture is to be white appropriated. That is this film.
Anybody can get ahead. But like, it is also very specifically about Latino people having to do that.
You need to embrace white upper class capitalism.
Yes.
The film.
Yep. Yes.
Fuck you.
The entire messaging of this film is that. It's fucking despicable. It sucks. Like, it's hard to... Like, as an example, he sits down, Pappy.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the name of the other fucking chihuahua.
Chloe's the appropriate white dog.
God, like, this is what I mean about how on the nose it is that, like, she is a white chihuahua and he's a brown chihuahua.
He's a brown chihuahua.
Yes.
Wink,
anyway.
Nudge, nudge. Do you get it? Do you get it?
Oh my god. So, anyway, one of the big recurring themes is that as a joke, quote unquote, but it's also like part of the moral messaging of this, is that like, oh, well, Pappy doesn't know how to be a father. Mm-hmm. Why does Pappy not know how to be a father? How do they illustrate that Pappy is not a good dad?
Oh, because he tells his kids bedtime stories, but then the kids get all excited about it and they don't go to sleep.
Yep. Because he tells bedtime stories and isn't an authoritarian asshole to them and punishing them constantly, that makes him a bad father. He has to learn to not do that. He has to learn to not tell children about stories of their culture and what it is like, and to be proud of it, because that'll excite them and they need to shut up and behave. That's fucking literally the point of those.
You cannot teach your kids about your culture and history because they need to learn how to integrate into white society. That is this film.
And shut up and be quiet and
Yes.
listen all the time and never... They need to be seen and not heard. That's the
Yes.
fucking point of that. It sucks so much. Like, he's constantly like, oh, well, I went and told them bedtime stories. And then she goes upstairs and she's like, you were supposed to settle them down, not rile them up. I can't believe you would tell them stories like this at bedtime. How dare you? And she's portrayed as being correct.
She This pisses me off even more because that character at the end of the first movie, Chloe, was the one who came around and was like, oh, I'm okay being in this society with people that aren't rich white people. I understand that there are other cultures and things outside of my rich white privileged bullshit. And now that character is, hey, I'm rich privileged bullshit. Hello. You need to be like me, actually.
Yeah, and it very much portrays her as, like, the ideal to look up to.
I hate it.
110%.
Like,
she is... Like, there's all these scenes of, like, Pappy going, like, oh, she's the greatest, most talented dog in the whole world, and that's why I love her so much. I want to be like her. I need everything to be about her. She's the greatest thing ever. And she's such a great mom, how much she hates our children and tells them to sit down and behave and wear, like, weird bougie sailor outfits. Like, she's got them in, like, dresses and, like, these fancy dresses and sailor outfits.
Outside of sailor outfits, there's also this gender bullshit going on in this film. Like, every dog needs to be gendered. Because otherwise you don't know what the dog is. It has to have a gender. And they even like, well, my son won't dress like that. He looks frilly.
Because they dress him in like the white, weird sailor outfit that rich people do with their kids. And he's like, oh, I don't want to do that. And it's very, like, obviously a gender thing. Like, oh god, it's just... It misses every possible point that it could make that's okay.
There was a throwaway line where one dog, who isn't part of the main cast, just a random dog, is like, I only chase imported cars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This movie completely...
that actually brings me to one of the things that they bring up multiple times. I wrote this down the first time they had it, and I'm so mad that they brought it back, and especially at the end of this movie. And that is that at the beginning of this film, one of the threats that the mom gives to the children for going outside and playing in the park, like kids do, was, I will not... Children, if you don't shut up and behave yourselves, you will get no bacon-wrapped filet mignon for dessert. And they bring that back at the end of the movie after they're desperately trying to find $40,000 to keep the parents' house around. And she goes, kids, again, if you don't behave, you won't have any more bacon-wrapped filet mignon for dessert. And I'm like, stop buying your fucking dog's bacon-wrapped filet mignon and pay your $40,000 bill, you bougie pieces of shit.
It's worse than that.
Fuck you.
No, it's worse because it's a dessert. That implies they've already had a rich, expensive meal.
Yes!
They're just cutting slightly. See, here's the problem. More people in the world need to, cut back a bit on their spending. If only you spent a little bit less, you would be able to get by with that $100. I gave up my bacon-wrapped filet mignon for dessert, so, you can buy ramen for 2 weeks. Come on, get by with your life. That's this film. Fuck you!
It's not even that bad. They're so clueless they didn't even get to there, because... It's shown as they can buy those things, but, it's never shown as, they need to cut those things out to pay their bills.
No.
It's just like, no, we're buying those things, but I don't know how we can't pay, how do we find $40,000 as they're sitting in their gilded mansion eating bacon-wrapped filet mignon.
Expensive
and there's
paintings.
No fucking hint of irony.
Yeah, expensive paintings and servants and rich fucking gold-plated staircases and...
Well, the
marble
female
floors.
dog, the white Chloe, right. Chloe is wearing a diamond necklace. And I mean, it is, covered in diamonds.
The same one from the first movie that we know is worth millions of dollars. Yes, that one. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I know.
She's wearing that throughout all these conversations. Every scene in this movie, she's wearing that collar. And they're sitting there having conversations about, oh my goodness, However shall we pay for this mortgage payment? I don't know. Yes. Yeah. This movie is the epitome of well, what could a banana cost, Michael? $11?
Here's $20. Go see A Star War.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm so mad about everything in this. The bad dad metaphors and stuff, like how awful they are about like abusive, terrible parents, and that they think that that's appropriate parenting, is incredible. Like the lengths that they go to about it, because he is upset that he can't figure out how to be a parent because he wants to do things like read bedtime stories and love and appreciate his kids and play with them in the park. And that's all shown as being awful and evil. And that he's like, I don't know how to come down on my kids and make them a subservient, awful, terrible people like my wife. Like, that's his plot line.
Wife.
Yeah, his plot line is that he doesn't know how to do that. And that's portrayed as, like, his growth is that he eventually learns to punish them.
Yeah,
and
the way you grow
children.
as a parent is by being abusive and authoritative. Yes.
And yet, that's not the worst part of bad parenting in this film. Because they have Delgado, who's a fucking cop in the worst goddamn way.
Forgot about Delgado.
He abandons his children at the doorstep of a police department to make them be other police dogs.
Have you ever abandoned your children at a police department and just been like,
no,
hey,
so he abandons
I don't want
them
these
there.
kids anymore, but the cops can take care of that. Yeah.
Yes, and that is portrayed as a positive,
heroic,
and
even.
at the end of the film, he's sitting there and he's like, oh man, should I turn back and look at my children that I abandoned? And he doesn't. Instead, his children come to him and they go, listen, Dad, we're so sorry that we were mean to you for abandoning us all these years. We never knew that you meant to abandon us to protect us, because you were doing important police dog work. So it's great that you abandoned us, and we're really sorry for how badly we treated you for leaving us here.
You see, it's our fault for not forgiving you.
Yeah. Fuck this movie.
Do you also remember the shitty subplot of the main character, like, fiance girlfriend, who's apparently poor but living in the rainforest with her rich white buddy and his rich white aunt, doing things for fun so that they could save the rainforest?
You know, I didn't forget that. Yeah, like, again, the whole time that...
While they're complaining about not having money. Yeah.
Yeah. That his parents are talking about not having money. They're staying in her billion-dollar mansion.
Literal mansion.
She's off in the...
Yeah.
Yes. Well, she's off in the Amazon rainforest with local guides and stuff, having the, like, whitest eco trip possible.
Yes. Like this fucking white woman's gonna go save the rainforest. That's her goal. Like, by appropriating cultures and
by just getting led around by native guides in the area, and yeah. Like, seeing the rainforest is her eco trip kind of thing.
It's her vacation is gonna save the rainforest. That's her thought process.
Yep.
Fuck you.
Yep. Write a check. No.
I'm on Viv. I can't just write a check.
I've got to go there and experience it on the ground.
Yeah, and I can't give money to my nephew whose parents are... Oh, no. Not until the film demands it later. Then I can.
So I don't get that. Well, no, the film doesn't demand that.
No, it doesn't.
Get the money from
they
them.
never... No, but she said that she'll pay for the wedding. So clearly she had fucking money. She just didn't want to pay it.
Yeah, they had a fucking dog wedding.
She would give out money for the main character and his girlfriend's wedding, now fiance, I guess, at the end of the film. But she would not give money to his parents who are struggling to find money for their billion-dollar mansion.
Yes. Well, okay, there
Theirs
places,
is more like $1 million mansion.
Theirs is a very upper class, very nice house. It's not like it's not palatial. It's probably worth, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if a house like that is worth almost $1 million. The house that they have in this
in Beverly Hills in LA, that thing's got to be like a $20 million.
It wasn't in Beverly Hills. Their house was in
I'm
Beverly
sorry.
Hills,
I forgot they showed them driving through the urban Latino neighborhood before they got to their mansion in the suburbs. My bad.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
But it's not a Beverly Hills mansion, but it is, and it's I wouldn't necessarily call it a mansion, but it is. It's like a McMansion.
It's like it's one of 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom, walk-in.
Yes.
Walk-in fucking bathroom shower near the porn room house, like.
Yeah, they think that they're okay. The writers of this movie think that the poor people, the reason why they look at a poor person's house and what they think a poor person's house is they don't have a pool.
Yes.
That's their idea, like an indoor pool. They're like, they don't have an indoor basketball court or pool. They're very poor.
They're very
That's the
poor.
idea of poor in this movie.
They're gonna need, what are they gonna need to pay the mortgage on the house? Like, it can't cost more than $40,000, right?
Yeah.
This multi-million-dollar home can't be more than $40,000.
I can't
they're
talk
even
about
off
this
on that
film.
estimate. They're off on the estimate.
I know. I can't talk about this film
bad.
because it's so fucking frustrating. Everything about it is infuriating.
The bank's not even the bad guy. The bank guy is only bad because he likes cats. It's not because he's a banker and taking advantage of fucking minority families by giving them shitty home loans. It's because he likes cats.
Yes. Yeah. He's not a bad person because he demands that they leave the house within less than 24 hours because they have dogs and he doesn't like them. He's bad because they have dogs and he doesn't like them.
Yes.
Not because he's evicting them, but because he doesn't like dogs. That's what makes him bad. And even then, he's not even like really portrayed as a villain even at the end of the film.
So anyway, the only way to solve their problem is they join a dog show. Because they can't just come up with $40,000. They're going to have to win a contest to win $50,000, which is more than $40,000. So after taxes, it covers it.
Which is after taxes way less than $40,000.
Because the rich people who wrote this shit decided that $50,000 after taxes has to be close to $40,000, right? Like, they took that into account. So they knew. And the dog show was fucking pointless. It didn't lead to anything, and it didn't matter. It led to a lot of racism, and also we got to see Hooch. Hooch is fucking crazy. and
French Stewart.
French Stewart, and get the fuck out of my movie, French Stewart. I don't care if you're right. Get the hell out of here.
Listen, French Stewart was like the only person in this movie that I agreed with at all.
I know, I hate that more.
It sucks. It sucks because I don't want to agree with French Stewart. French Stewart was the most, like, believable, down-to-earth person in this movie, and that should give you some fucking red fucking flags, shouldn't it? French Stewart didn't appear like an alien from another planet. He seemed like a down-to-earth, normal person. Yeah. French fucking Stewart. French Stewart is the most believable person in this movie. Fucking end the podcast. You get the movie now. There you go.
No, we can't end the podcast.
I know.
We can't end the podcast. We haven't talked about Winston yet. Winston's in this movie. Fucking Ernie Hudson.
Yeah.
He's Pedro. After drinking an entire crystal skull of Dan Aykroyd's vodka. He signed up for this shit.
So the dog show happens. They're talking about, oh my, how are we gonna pay this $40,000? So they join this dog show, and this is where the movie, this movie does not know what it wants, because it wants to be about poor middle class people or like lower class people, but it doesn't understand anything about them, and like. It wants to be angry at bougie people, but everybody in this movie is bougie, so it doesn't understand how to, like, differentiate that. So, like, the villain of the dog show is Apollonia de Beauvoir, who talks in a fake French accent and all this shit.
Yeah,
and
the one who calls
she
everybody
comes in,
peasants. Yeah.
Yes, she calls them peasants. Which is amazing considering the mansions they live in.
Yep.
But she's this weird French poodle, and that's their villainess for the dog show arc. This has like multiple arcs. So the dog show arc happens, and they go, oh no, we need to do this dog show. Maybe we'll win the money. And they go off to the dog show. They do the whole dog show thing for 20 minutes of this film, and then they lose the dog show and promptly forget the dog show ever happened. That's just it. It just drops out of the face of the earth. They never go back to Apollonia. Apollonia wins the contest, and that's the last we ever see.
That's the end. That's it. It's so fucking pointless.
Yep. They just move on from it. The very next scene is what it is. The puppies are sitting home alone. Well, this is going on while all the other dogs are at the dog show and their human owners are at the dog show. So then the puppies of these two chihuahuas sneak out, and they're like, oh wait, we know how to get the money. And what they do is they go and see Delgado's fucking bastard sons that he abandoned in the police department. And they go, oh, we have a message from Delgado. He actually loves you. What? How does that get them the money? I don't fucking know, nor do the writers.
No.
So because of that, what happens is that incidentally, when they're telling these two dogs that their dad actually loves them, they're police dogs, and they're going to stop a bank robbery. So now the small dogs get accidentally kidnapped by jumping into the duffel bags of the bank robbers, and that's how they get the money.
We've had a ton of movies about bumbling villains stealing dogs. We've never had one where they did it on accident.
Well, and that they didn't introduce the bumbling villains until that moment.
Yes!
The bumbling villains in this movie that are the bank robbers they have less than a minute of screen time, full stop, full movie. Like, I bet they barely crack a full minute of screen time.
The dog, like, the puppies find the money, and they're like, yes, money for house, money equal house. This will pay. We'll just steal the money from the bank robbers. Which they give back to the bank. Because you can't remove capital from the bank.
No.
We can't do that. You need to.
That would be against the system that we all believe in.
You
and
need
love.
to invest in the system. The system works. So what happens? The bank just forgives their loan because they stopped the bank robbers and didn't take the money. Fuck you, movie. Like, no.
Well, see, Boyks, if you simply integrate into capitalist society and protect the capital of the rich people that are coming to throw you out of your home, then you know that everything will work out okay.
Yes.
They'll allow you as a peasant to have things like food and shelter.
You know,
thank you, capitalists.
I, as a human being who is not seen as a worker drone in this society, really appreciate that the capitalist overlords are willing to forgive me and show pity on me enough to not throw me on the street and take all of my possessions. That's really nice of them to not be awful evil beings for one moment of their fucking lives. Wow. Thank you, capitalist overlords. Fuck you.
Yes, they portray the banker that loves cats, and they kind of do like he's very effeminate in a way.
They also do gay jokes. They don't do overtly gay jokes.
No, that's the thing is like this is why it's almost more.
It's a liberal gay joke.
I would almost respect them more if they just fucking came out and said what they meant, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all of this like. All of their shit is hidden where it's like, oh, we can do jokes about like Mexican people because we're portraying them positively. We can do jokes about gay people because it's not really, he's not gay. You're just reading into it. Like it's all that shit. That's what this is it's like all hidden below the surface where they think they're being clever about it, but They reveal way more about themselves in
Yes.
this movie than they meant to. And it is despicable.
They spend half of the movie with Pappy teaching his pups about their culture and Machu Picchu and the Aztecs and Mayans and
to be proud of who they are and
how
proud of their
they should
Mexican
be and how
heritage.
proud their warriors were saving children. And then the way that they show that is during the dog show, they appropriate that culture by just putting him in an Aztec warrior costume to parade in front of a bunch of white people.
But not only that, not only all of that, they also
That's it.
remember too though that the also that like the whole arc of that of him telling his puppies stories like that is his white rich wife telling him how awful of a father that makes him, and she's right. She's in the movie. She's portrayed as right.
Movie. Yeah.
The movie says that he's wrong, that he's a bad dad for doing this. He's a bad dad for it. This makes him bad. This makes him terrible. He's an awful person for doing this. Fuck them. Fuck them. I'm so mad. Like, this is the most infuriating movie I've watched on this podcast. By far. Like, we've seen movies that are objectively worse. They've got worse actors. They've got worse writing in, like, the dialogue and stuff. But, like, there has never been a movie that we've watched where it is so overtly racist, sexist, classist, like, just everything. But yet trying to be like, look at how awesome and progressive we are over top of it. Like, they paint over this thin veneer of, but we're saying that this is okay. Like, oh, fuck. Well, we accept you as long as you join our society and what we want you to do. That makes us the good people. We're willing to overlook all of your faults as a Mexican or a Latino person by being just simply being Latino. We'll overlook all of that. And that makes us good people.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
This movie is literally Get Out. Like,
it
is. I wanted to get out of this film too. A lot.
I want this to be a fun comedy podcast about a bad dog movie, and this is the worst. This sucks. I can't do it.
I agree with you. I would rather have overt racism than like liberal progressive fucking whitewashing racism. That
patting on the back, because they're patting themselves on the back the whole time. Like, you can feel the smarmy bullshit of these people where they like went home after this and slept and went like, we're such good progressive allies, and it's like, fuck you. Like, absolutely, fuck everything you stand for. Fuck everything about your life. Fuck you. I can't get over how angry everything about this movie makes me.
I don't even know who this movie's for. Like, it's supposed
for
to be
other super white rich liberals,
like,
who are sitting in their like. What this movie is for is it's for somebody who's sitting in a house like we saw these poor people in, quote unquote, not the big mansion, but like the upper class suburban house where they've got like a white picket fence and 5 bedrooms for their 2-person family. And it's for people like that are sitting in a house like that, and they're like, oh man, we can't buy our second car right now because we're having a bit of a crunch. And they're like, oh, we're so hard done by and so poor. That's who it's for. It's for people that feel that way.
This is written by a person that would look at Skid Row and be like, why don't they just get a job?
Yes.
I'm not going to do anything.
100%.
But those poor people need to get work.
I went out and I pulled myself up by my bootstraps.
Yes.
And I've got this nice house, and it hardly took me any work at all. All I had to do was have a friend who is a billionaire that has this massive mansion over here with their diamond crusted dog collars and their fucking crystal bowl dog food bowls, and like,
I did this all on my own. And a $400,000 capital loan from my parents, and I'm fine.
Yes. Yep.
You just need to integrate into my society. Then you'll be good too. Yeah.
If you would just listen to the bank and pay your mortgage on time and like talk to them, you'd realize how nice the bankers are and how cool and awesome they are and how much they're your friends. You just need to help them out and then they'll help you too. Come beg at my table for my scraps, and then you'll learn how awesome I am and how nice I am to give you my nice little scrap. Like, fuck them.
The only good scene in this movie is when Chloe played Farrah Lee's and a bookshelf opened up, revealing a key that you needed to use to open another door in the Resident Evil mansion.
I can't make jokes about this. I can't make a joke about this film.
I can! So that's the only joke I got. I'm out. This movie sucks. That's the one joke. I hope you're here. Hope you came for jokes, kids.
Because we don't got them.
That's all I got.
What we've got instead is class consciousness and intersectionality. This is just worse.
Like, you can't comedy this. There's no comedy. No. It's just infuriating.
Yes, everything about this is because there's nothing that's like. The problem is that none of this stuff is done so incompetently that it's in any way funny.
Yes.
It's just infuriating. Like, it's not even funny to make fun of because it's not done badly enough. It's done in a totally competent way for what they're trying to message. It's just that their message is fucking despicable. And they don't realize that it's despicable. They are, like I said, they're going home and patting themselves on the back for how progressive and cool they are. And how nice it was that they let those people into their movie. Like, that's what it feels like.
Yes. There's one thing that makes this movie make sense. It's a Disney movie. The capitalist overlord Disney, who hires minorities very often at slave wages and puts them in their slave apartments that they can't leave, that the only thing they can buy is from the company store.
Yeah.
Made this film. That makes sense. And and Walt Disney would have been 100% behind the message of this fucking film.
Oh god, yeah. No, this is...
And Eisner and all those fucking people.
That, like we said, I mean, who this movie is for is it's for rich white executives and the upper middle class and upper class white people that want to be like those people and think that they have something in common.
Do you know what Epcot was originally for? What the original design was for Epcot?
Yes,
it was a rich white Pleasantville neighborhood where all the lawns are mowed, all the white people have jobs. If you don't have a job, you can't live there. AKA, you can't be black. You can't be...
Yeah.
White people. It was a white
it was a white gated neighborhood is what they were making.
That was Epcot.
Yes.
That is this movie. This movie is that.
Yes. But the worst part about it, the part that's really fucking great is that they use Latin culture and stuff to put this veneer of progressivism over it, right?
Yeah.
They use all of these people as minorities as well, see, but it's not about that because it's actually about this poor minority family. But like I said, all of it ultimately ends up of them having to just incorporate into this white bougie culture that they've found themselves surrounded by. And that makes them good people. As if they would just sit down, shut up, and assimilate, then everything would go great for them. And they all learn that lesson. Hooray!
This movie ruined my day.
It's the worst. This is just fucking garbage. It's awful. And they're so bad with their messaging. Another thing that was just, for example, when they bring, it's such a muddled fucking message because they want bougie white people to be the villains, but then they're like, wait, but we're bougie white people. Maybe bougie white people are actually good. Maybe we're the good bougie white people.
Yeah.
And the way that it shows that, it's immediately obvious from the opening scenes of this movie when they go to the dog park, and the dog park is full of butlers bringing the dogs sushi platters. And the one group is like, oh, this is Fabu, the sushi that we have. Oh, it's amazing. And they're talking about that over this. And they're portrayed as the good people. And the only reason why the French woman comes in, the French dog, the French poodle, and she's like, oh, like, ta-ta, little... And she's portrayed as bad, but it's like...
She's like everybody else, though.
She's just everyone else. Like, they're showing all of these other people getting all these things, and they're good. 5 seconds later, it has her come in, and she's bad because she's got a fake French accent, I guess? Like, what? Why is she worse than they are? They don't know. They have no idea. There's nothing differentiating the two of them. There's nothing differentiating these two groups of people. And other than, like, oh, well, we hang around the poors. And the poors happen to be a upper middle class Mexican family that owns a landscaping business.
Owns a landscaping
That's who
business.
They're like, oh, well, but see, we are down with the working class. People that own their own house in a nice suburban neighborhood and own their own landscaping company.
Yes.
You know,
and
the
multi-million-dollar mansions. Yes.
They're poor. The poors.
They're
Yes.
poor. Yeah.
As you know, the poors. That's what makes us good, is because we don't look down on them. As long as, you know, they don't do things like talk about how their culture is good and rile up the kids before bed. Ooh, oh God. Oh no. Yes.
One thing the writers for this film have never done is work retail.
No.
We know that.
Or anything.
We know that. They've never worked a service job in their fucking lives.
No. They've never put in work at, like, a store or, like, at the landscaping business.
You know what?
Like you said, there was a point where you didn't realize that it was a landscaping business they owned because they barely mention it tangentially. And you're like, wait, landscapers?
They're in a rich
they're
house.
landscapers. And you're like, there's no fucking way. Like, they did no dirt under their face. Like, these are not, like... They never worked on a lawn. They don't have, like grass stains on their clothes or dirt under their nails or... No.
No, they don't own a landscaping business. They're like IT professionals or something. There has to be there's something here that they're missing.
Mm-hmm. Nope. No, they're down-to-earth, hard-working landscapers.
You know, I never thought about it, but if there's one film to encourage us as a population to take down the rich and revolutionize the world and bring out the guillotines and take on the bourgeoisie that is upper white society, I had a hunch that it would be Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2, but I wasn't sure until after watching it. So this is a great opportunity to stand up, my comrades.
Yeah, if you wanna raise somebody's class consciousness and explain to them why, like, white capitalist society and bougie people like this fucking suck, show them this movie.
I am ready to lift up that pitchfork and walk you down the street to their house with a fucking torch after this goddamn movie. Yeah.
You can do like a drive-in movie experience for this and use it to like rally people to go and like burn down mansions.
This is socialist propaganda. That is what this movie is, but written by capitalist overlords.
Yeah, it's without it, like, they don't understand what they're writing. They think that they're writing something that's uplifting and fun, and what they've written is like a dystopian hellscape. It fucking sucks. Anyways, let's get to the dogs.
Yeah, let's talk about the dogs.
Cute. The dogs are cute. I like the dogs. The dogs are real fun. Let's talk about our fun dog movie podcast. Fucking assholes. They have a punk rock pug dog in the dog show, and it like comes out with like a red mohawk and stuff, and that's like cool, I guess. Woo! A fun dog movie. Woohoo! Rated the dogs. We're done. I'm out. Podcast over. Thanks for watching Rough Cuts. It's great.
I can't. I'm dead.
That punk rock pug's taken down the system by being in a rich fashion show. Woo! They totally understood punk culture too. Got them.
We will revolutionize and take down the capitalist overlords. See you next time.
Like, listen, I am one of those people where I live in a house. I own my own house.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not own it. We pay mortgage, but like,
The bank
we have
owns
a
it.
house that
Yeah.
is essentially ours in the way that we are paying mortgage for it. Like, we are investing into that. I have a wife who is a professional where we own our own business as photographers. I would never consider myself to be poor at this point. Like, that's the thing is I wouldn't want to, like, the idea that I'm some kind of, like, oppressed class or something is so fucking pathetic. So obviously wrong. It's just, and like, but these people, according to these people, I'm like lower class poors. Fuck them. Like, actual people that are really struggling. They've never met one in their life. They've never seen a person who's ever struggled.
Well, anyway, yeah, I rate the dogs, they're in the film. Out of 10.
Yes, they're in the film.
They're
They're cute. I wish
Yeah.
that we could have rescued them from this film. They didn't deserve to be
those,
in this.
Those dogs need to get out as soon as possible.
Just like this
Just
movie,
go.
yeah.
That's it.
Run.
That's it for this week. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thank you for sharing the podcast, everything like that. We're getting close to 7,000 downloads, which is actually pretty dope. So appreciate the support.
Extremely dope. I think that are we not at 7,000? We've got to be real close. It's wonderful that everybody
something like
supported
that.
us this much. Oh, 6,500. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Definitely getting there, very close. We've been getting about 100 downloads plus per episode, which is absolutely incredible. You've all been extremely supportive and kind. We really do appreciate it a lot. And if you'd like to retweet out our episodes and stuff, you can check us out at Rough Cuts Cast on Twitter. You can send us emails to roughcutscast@gmail.com. And
And one thing
rate us on iTunes, all that stuff. It really does help a lot.
And one thing I do want to do to end this a bit and sort of put a cap on it, if you have any like local charities around you for like minority groups, donate to them if you can. Donate your time. Donate to Black Lives Matter. All that stuff.
Yes.
If you are as upset as us at this fucking film, now is a good time to take that anger and turn it into something positive for the people in your community.
Do something like I didn't want to say this because I didn't want to mention too much that I was going to be doing this year. But like, go out, do something, do local organizing yourself.
Yeah.
Like, not even necessarily donate to a charity because like that's kind of an easy thing to do.
Correct.
Go out, find like in your city if you have $20, $50, $100 to spare. Go find like some gloves and like hats, like a toque. I'm Canadian, so I say toque. But like, go get yourself a toque and some hats, and like get some like basic supplies that homeless people will need, and then go downtown to your local city center and just hand them out to people. Go meet people and hand it out, and just like actually see somebody who's really struggling, and
like, be the change.
don't
that
be
you
like
wanna
the people
see.
in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
It just, God, I'm
This
so
movie
upset about this film. This film's upsetting.
This movie has riled me up in a way that I want to go help people.
Yeah,
like, I'm
yes.
so mad.
Yes. Yeah, like, that these people, they probably gave, like, $100 at some point to some charity somewhere, and we're like, all right, done.
Yes.
And, like, like I said, they're living in some really nice house somewhere, and, like, find people that are actually struggling and donate directly to them. Do some fucking direct action.
Yeah.
Go out and meet people that are actually struggling. Like, not just donate to a charity. Go out and see a homeless person. Buy them a meal. Give them $20 when you see them on the street. Like, do something. And it's like, oh God.
Do anything except watch Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
do
anything
something that's not this.
Well, see you next time.
Yeah.
I'm just confused.
I'm legitimately upset at this movie. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. This movie is... I don't know how I'm going to make fun of this movie because
we don't need to make fun. We could just be mad. We could just be mad.
But I want it to be funny, and I can't be funny about this movie because it sucks so much.
We can just be angry. It's okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I can just be mad at this movie. Thank you for giving me permission to be angry at this movie, because I am fucking pissed.